Hello everyone, I'm Tariq Mohammed with you for today's session. Hopefully you are doing great. Today there are two topics for our session. The first one is about the CSS property, which is called position, which is most important, perhaps the mostly confusing for the beginners as well. And the other topic is creating a responsive menu using a third-party plugin, a jQuery plugin. So hopefully you will stay with me for the session till the end. Well, before starting my session, I will show some settings for the newcomers or also the older who may face the problem and their risk resolution. Well, who are facing the problem, that means if you are not watching my screen properly or seeing the blur or you cannot hear my voice. So in that case, actually the resolution is not set properly for your streaming. So for that, just you have to do some settings. It's simple. Uh, Hover on your video stream and see the settings icon. Click on it and click on the quality option. And there are many options you can see. So just click on 360 or 480 for better quality, streaming quality. If I think many of us are selected by default 240 or 144. So in that case, actually, you will not see my screen properly. So it is highly recommend to use 360 or 480 for better resolution. Hopefully, then you can see my screen without any problem. So after that, you have any problem or facing any problem for the internet issue, so you have to check your internet connection as well. And other, if any you have faced any other problem, you can comment in the YouTube session. If you are logged in with your Gmail account, you can easily comment in the comment section. I will check your comments in the regular interval. Sorry. So I'm going to start the main session, the topic. The first one is the position property. In the CSS, the position property is important and it is mostly confusing as well. If many of us actually cannot differentiate between the different position property value. So I'll try to clarify this in the simple with some examples. Well, there are four properties for the position. The first one is static by default. The second one is absolute. Third one is relative, and the last one is fixed. So there are four properties, but by default it is selected as static. So static means actually it is static. That means there are no other properties will be allowed, or it is by default. So let's do something. Just taking a div, which class is box. You can say that box one. Okay. So this is a blank box or div. Then I'm writing CSS for this box one. Just giving some width, right, 200 pixel and height as well 200 pixel, and giving a color, background color, just black. I'll see this output, how it looks now. Okay, just a simple black box. So it is by default static. We said that the property static is by default. If we don't select other properties until we select other properties value, then it is static. So what's the difference? Well, we cannot actually differentiate if we cannot use the other property value. So we have to use some other property. So let's take another div, which is box 2. Well, I'm writing code for the box 2, CSS code. So 2, and we can use 300, 300. Just using a different background color like blue, and I'm changing the position value, which is absolute. Okay, well, this is absolute. The first one is static. Now, what's the difference? Well, when it is absolute, actually, uh, we can apply the four property: top, right, bottom, and left. That means for the static value or position, we cannot apply those four properties, but we can apply for those properties other in the absolute position. That means, well, I'm writing right 0 pixel. Okay, so you can see that it is actually right 0. That means the position is from the right is 0. So I mean, if I can make it to the top, so what will happen? Just see that. Yeah. So it is now top 0 and right 0. So it is the right corner. But you cannot apply those value in the static div. That means that one. This is static for now, and it is dynamic. Sorry, absolute. So you can put some value like that, static and absolute. So I can scale up and some font size to make it larger actually, so that we can see what is happening here. Just putting the same value for the box one. Okay. So this is static and this absolute. So the difference is I said that the four properties top, right, left, and bottom, which cannot be applied to the static position, but which can be applied to the absolute position. Also, those other can be applied for the other two property value, which is fixed, and other one is relative. We'll see how it is that. Okay, another difference is that we can implement the jet index. That means, and this another CSS property, which is called jet index, which is used to prioritize that. For example, there are two layers. One div is top the another div. For example, if I make it, well, just let me make it. Well, another thing, if we use right and left together, actually just one will be work, the other will not work because it is conflicting. Because you cannot make an element right 0 or left 0 together, because either it should be right side or either it should be left side. So if we make both are 0, that means actually it is conflicting. So the last one will work, the other one will be not actually. Okay, so make it left 0. So okay, so you can see that the left 0, but where is the other one? That means the static block. Actually, it is under the absolute one, because we already put it the under the static. But the problem is, I said that the jet index can work with the absolute position, but we don't need the jet index because it is already in the upper layer. That means if there are two deep, one after another, or one with another, but in that case, and they are same position, so the just the one will be shown. So which one will be shown? The higher the jet index value, the that will be shown. So by default, the absolute position has the higher jet index value than the static value. So the absolute value is shown over the other one. That means the black one we use is static. So we have to use another one for the jet index understanding. Okay, we can use another deep, for example, box 3, which we will use for the relative. Well, I'm checking your comment if you're missing anything. Well, there are no comments. That means everything's hopefully okay. So there are three box tree. So just I'm copying for saving time. So, box tree, and we can use different height, 100 to 400 actually, and the position is relative, and also the color is, sorry, background color will be changed actually. So you can use background color together. Okay. Okay, so you can see now the absolute, the relative, and the last one is actually static. So to see the static, actually, you have to make it right. Sorry. Well, before that, I'm just showing the getting this property. So I said that the Jetting's property can be implemented in the absolute or relative or fixed property value. So you can see now that absolute is below and the relative is above. That means there are two layers. That means absolute cannot be seen for the relative, and the bottom part of the absolute is actually hidden below the relative dip. But I want to show the absolute in the top and relative in the bottom. That means the relative dip will be hidden, not the absolute. So how will we do that? So I will use the jet index. So jet index 1 for the absolute. That means box 2. Yeah. Now you can see that the absolute one is actually above and the relative is now the below to the absolute. So what we will is that the jet index is 1. By default, we have to assume that the jet index is 0 for all other elements of the same layer. When we use the jet index 1, that means for box 2 we use the jet index 1. That means now it is the greater than the other jet index, because we assume that the jet index is 0 for the other. So box 3, the jet index value is now 0. Uh, the box 1 now 1, that means 1 is greater than 0, so it should be shown above the box 3. That means box 2 is high prioritized and box 3 is less. So we can see the absolute, the first one. So we have said that the jetting this value can be implemented in the position relative or position absolute or position fixed. So another difference between the absolute and relative, when we use top, bottom, left, right for the absolute, you can see that, for example, yeah, for that we use that left 0 for the box 2, that means absolute. You can see that it is just left 0 here. So now if we use the right zero, so when you use the right zero, that's it is the right side of this screen. But what will happen if you use the right zero for the relative? That means this box. So let's see. It has not changed. That means the right zero is not working. Yeah, actually it is working. But either way, how can we understand that? Well, I giving the 20 pixel. Yeah. You can see that the relative box just 20 pixels shifted in the from the right. That means it is shifted from the its own position, from its own current position, not the whole screen. For the absolute, if you use the 20 pixel, so just see that what happened. Yeah. So for absolute, you can see that the 20 pixel shifted from the right side, that means the right side of the whole e-screen or viewport. But for the relative, it's just shifting from its own position. That means the position it is its current position here. Just it shifted from its own position. So, for example, if we increase the box to 200, sorry, 200, and say the 200 for relative. Yeah. So it is just shifting from the right side of the screen, and it is shifting from its own position. So the difference you can see that the top left, bottom right, those properties can be applied to the absolute and the relative, but the difference is for the absolute, the shifting or this will work right from the total screen for the absolute, and for the relative, it will actually shift it from its own current position. That means where it is supposed to be stay, just it will shift it from its own position. So there's the difference between the absolute and relative. Another difference is that for absolute, actually it doesn't follow any floating. That means the normal flow of the deep. For example, there is a deep static. Okay, let me clear that. Yeah. So relative is not starting from here. That means the relative is just starting from the other after the other div static. So where static is ends, where static ends, and then relative is started. That means relative is follow the flow of the screen, but the absolute is not flowing. That means it can be actually stayed anywhere of the screen because it is absolute. For example, if we use left 100, so it is just starting. That means it doesn't care who are his left side or who are his right side. He just want to stay where it is. That means his range is actually the whole screen. Now, what will happen if we keep the absolute box into the relative box? Okay, let's see. There is some interesting thing. For example, just we are keeping this, sorry, absolute into the relative box. Okay, say that. Yeah. So there is interesting thing that when the absolute is put it in other relative box, that means if the parent of the absolute box is relative, in that case actually the absolute box will not stay the outside of this parent. It cannot move anywhere. It has to the limitation or the area of this absolute is actually its parent. So just let me change some CSS. Okay. So if now we're changing the left box 3, right 10 pixel, and 20 pixel. So let's see what will happen now. Yeah. So it is the top 20 and right 10. That means now it is not here in the top 20 or top 10. Now it is just moving within this square. That means the relative one. So when absolute is put it into the and relative div, so it will limit it the area of this absolute box, not the whole screen. Now we'll show the last one, which is the fixed. So we are taking another div, which is box 4, which is actually fixed. Okay. So for box 4, we'll write some code. So I just copying that. You don't need to write every code because the main purpose of our lesson is to understand the properties, not writing the code. Well, for box 4, just we're using fixed, and we're using this different color so that you can understand it more properly. What color we can use? We can use maroon. Yeah. This is fixed. Also, this is right and top because right and top can also be applied to the that means now just we erase the bottom 0 because top will not work because the bottom is already mentioned here. So we said that it is conflicting or left or right or bottom or top cannot work together. So we can use the right vertex. Well, how can we understand it is fixed? Yeah, the fixed means we have to increase the size for the height. Yeah, just using the different height for the so that we can scroll. Yeah. So now you can see that we can scroll. That means the relative box is so long. For that to see this the whole area, we have to scroll. But you can see that the fixed, that means the div is actually not changing its position. That means whether we are changing the other content, the static is changing, the relative is ups and down, the absolute is shifting when we are scrolling, but the fixed is actually fixed. That means he's not moving from his position. So it is the main difference for the fixed property. It is from the other property value. You can see the practical example. For example, there is a chat box in our any web application like Facebook. You will see that whether we are scrolling to see the content, but the chat box is actually fixed. It is not changing. There are other examples. For example, when you see some menu, the top menu is actually fixed. You are scrolling down, but the menu is stay fixed here. Actually, it is for the better interface, so that user cannot leave the menu. So user can always see the menu and click or navigate whether he wants to go. So this is the user position. So there are four position value which are important: static, relative, absolute, and fixed. The static is by default, and absolute when we apply absolute or relative or fixed, the jet index properties can be applied. The difference is, and for the relative, the position, the changing for the top, left, right is just from its own position. But for the absolute, actually it will change from the whole screen. But when absolute is put it into the any relative box, then the space for the absolute is just his parent, and the fixed is when whether we scroll or down or up, but the fixed div will not be changed, so it is stay fixed. to the screen. So this is the part for the position. Hopefully you have understood everything. If you have any question, you can ask. Then I'm going to show the second topic about today's topic, which is about actually a responsive menu, how to create. Well, we can use Bootstrap for creating a responsive menu, but without using Bootstrap, you can use another plugin, which name is SlickNap. Uh, SlickNap is a jQuery plugin, by which we can create a responsive menu, the simple responsive menu. So let's create a menu first, and I'm just commenting those code because we don't return now. Also commenting those HTML part as well. Well, let's create a menu first using UL. So just home. And we can put some value just for demo. UL services in and contact. Just this is the simple UL. And for the UL, just we can use some ID like menu. So for the menu, we'll write some code in the CSS part for this is still on by default, and we can use margin 0 to keep it center. And for LI, you can use float left because you want to display the menu item in the same line, and we can use like 120 pixel. And for the you can use some height also, 40 pixel, and you can use the background for the whole menu, black background. And you can also put for the anchor, that means the link we are using in the list item. So for text decoration none, because we want to remove this underline from the text, and we also put in some color, white can be, and we can use some font size 14 pixel. 16, no problem. Let's see how it shows. And another thing is we have to float so that it's not breaking. Sorry, maybe I did not save my HTML code. It's still not showing. Okay, get the color. Sure. Let me check the code. I think there's something wrong here. The color is different. Okay, so I'm giving the height 40 pixels because we didn't give height to the UL. Okay, so now it is showing, and we can use some padding for the padding cup. We can use so 6 pixel, whatever. And we are using the same height, 40 pixel. Okay, and now we'll keep some hover for the menu. So LIA hover. For the anchor, actually it is with 100%. That means the 100% of the LI. The LI is now 120 pixels, so the anchor will also be 120 pixel. And you can change the background color to the some darker color or some light color, like skeleton. Okay. Yes, but there is a problem because the padding is added and it is outside of the mini web, so we have to increase the height to 30. First, you can ask why I am using 34. Well, finally is the padding top. So padding top actually is added to the height. That means if the height is 40, then padding top is 6. So the total height will be 46 pixel. So in that case, we have seen that the hover is actually going outside of the total area of the UL. So just we are adjusting the value. So 34 plus 6 equals 40. So we can see the height of the menu is 40. So this is now 40 pixels. So now it's fine. Well, and now we'll also make the text align center to make this text in center. So our basic menu has been already created. Now we'll apply the Slake name for our the responsive. That means if it is not responsive, it will not be shown properly in the mobile devices or the smaller devices. Okay, for example, if we switch to the our mobile version, so we can see that the menu just not it is just hidden. So we have to just going to the scroll or right side to see the mobile device. So it is not actually responsive. So you want to make it responsive so that it can be shown in the mobile device or tab properly. So how will you use this Slake Nap? Well, I have already downloaded. You can download from here. Just download button here. Then I am including this CSS sleeknap.css and sleeknap.mean.js. So just going to the my downloaded version of the sleeknap. Okay, got it. So There is a slicknap.mean.css. I'm just importing it into my CSS folder. Then I have to include the jazz, that means slicknap.mean.jazz. There are two versions. One is normal, just slicknap, and other is mean version. We always use the mean version because it is the lighter. You can see the size is 7 KB, but the normal version is 17 KB. If we don't need to change any code of the core, so we don't need to use the normal one. Just we can use the mean version. So we always use the mean version for our actual development process. Okay, just keeping here. And in the JS folder, you can see another file, which is jQuery min, which is actually a jQuery library. You may know that without jQuery library, actually jQuery plugin will not work because all the jQuery plugin is dependent on the jQuery library because the jQuery plugin is built on the jQuery library based on the jQuery library. So we have to must include this jQuery library in our file. Now we'll use this jQuery. So we will copy this. Then is the name or well, it is CSS and slicknode.min.css. Then we have to JS. First one is jQuery library, and the second one is the slicknode plugin, which I have downloaded already. So the second one is here. Okay. So one CSS, two JS already included. Now we'll go for the initialization. That means a jQuery plugin need to initialize or triggering so that actually DOM can be called or the function of the plugin is called. So just we'll keep it here, the last part. In this ID actually we have already used that ID, but if you use different ID then you have to change that also. Okay. Then we have to do some fixing in the CSS because in the there will be actually there another mobile menu for the uh, plugin has been created. That means the plugin will create a dynamic menu based on this our this static menu. Actually, it will be shown in the mobile, but for the mobile version, actually this menu will not be shown. So we have to hide this menu for the mobile version. So this actually done by here. This code. I'll explain the code. Okay. So first one is click nav menu. Actually, this menu is this class is actually generated by the plugin. So display none. So by default, that means in the normal case or normal devices, it is actually not displayed. That means the mobile menu will not be displayed in the normal case. It will be displayed in the case they are using 40 em, but we can use like 580 pixel. That means 580 when the screen device is less than 580 pixel or mobile, we can see the menu. But we have to hide the our main menu. That means the main menu is the black one. That means it will not be shown in the mobile. So we just hiding in display now. And the mobile menu is click nav menu and it is display block. That means it will be shown in the mobile device. So let's see actually how it will work now. Okay. So this is now shown in the normal case. Now go for the mobile device. Yeah. Just check it. When the resolution is 428, that means less than 580 pixel. So now, yeah, you can see the all thing, home, about, services, team, contact, the menu we have created, but it is the not the same menu. Just it take the list item from the our main menu and create a mobile menu. Okay, now make it more than 580 pixel. Yeah, now 593. That means now it is not working. That means the mobile device is hidden and the main menu is now displaying. So it is the normal case. Just make it the less than 580. Then the mobile is showing, and we can change the value. For example, we want to make the menu for the tab also, so we can make it 768 pixel. Okay, so if you make it 600, it is still working. 700 and 768, and it is not working. So this is the limit. So it's simple. So you can see actually how actually make a responsive menu without many code, just using a plugin. And you have to just check the plugin. We can also, there are some parameter you can change. For example, you can change the menu level. That means you can say level menu and to browse. So you can change here, just changing the value of the level. And there are some other properties you can use here. So if you check the documentation properly, you have a lot of option for your menu. Well, I will close our session shortly. If you have any questions about our today's session, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm here to answer your questions here. And before that, I'm showing something about CodersTrust. So, what is the CodersTrust, or what is the vision of the CodersTrust? It's simple. CodersTrust is a IT that it is Denmark-based IT company which is working for the IT skill development, and also for the after the learning the IT skill, or gaining the when you are skilled, you have to earn actually, because the main purpose obviously earning something using my skill or your skill, whatever. So when you are actually you have to face many problems in the global marketplace like Upwork or freelancer. So Kudatas is helping to make a good guideline, or can help you how to build your portfolio, how to deal with client, and how to make proposal for the project. So in that case, actually, initially you will get a huge support from the Coder Trust if you are a student of the Coder Trust. And Coder Trust make the curriculum is so much practical oriented that uh, you will not face any problem, or the skill are not actually not be useless, because the skill set is perfectly set depending on the demand of the marketplace. You can see you can browse the marketplace project, then you can understand actually how the curators is helping. And there are also many success stories that curators students already started earning. If you check the success stories who are doing very good in their marketplace projects, and Coder Trust is helping. And there are a few courses in Coder Trust. One is 4 month front-end development. If you want to start with HTML, CSS, in the initial level, Bootstrap. And there's another thing, full stack development, which is 7 month duration. So you can check this course content, and if you feel good and comfortable, you can enroll, because wasting time would be a good idea. Because the earlier you start, actually, the earlier you can earn. You can also try the 14-day free trial if you want to know how the actually product test work. And there is a learn and earn path. You can see the if you have any questions, you can contact to the support. Also for the Bangladesh branch, the main branch is in Dhaka, Bangladesh. So for there is a helpline. You can call to the number if you are from Bangladesh. 01787 within the office hour. And there are permanent campus and office here in the Route 19A House 82 Section E, Ponani. And for the students from the other countries, you can also uh, contact to the support and email the official Facebook page also. So there's a lot of way. Just you can contact to the support. So hopefully you'll enjoy the journey to the Coder Trust. Already there are many successful students, so why not? You'll try. Hopefully you'll try this if you have the confidence and to explore your skill in this IT area. Well, I'll close my session. If anyone just join later, don't worry. You can see the whole session after the finishing our today's session. Just in the same URL, you can see the recorded version completely. Before finishing, I'm just showing some settings again. Well, there is a settings icon. Just click on it and change the quality to 360 or 480 because 144 or 240 you cannot see the screen properly and you cannot understand my code also. So just change the settings before watching the video again. So hopefully you have enjoyed this session. We'll see you later. Hopefully in this actually in this week also. So take care. Bye bye. Good night.